objective is, are you sure you want to start? You sure? You really sure? We've seen your content. Are you sure?
Yeah, you really sure you want to put people through this crap again?
Do you really want to waste our bandwidth? We've got virtually unlimited bandwidth, and yet you're still using us.
Well, look, I apologise, Google, YouTube overlords, but Dread Pirate Bezos isn't paying me enough.
Yeah. So we're working on both anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But as you mentioned earlier, welcome to Roundheads episode 112 with me, the SuffolkRam,
Skazz.
And no Middlemeister.
1 second, hang on. Not that people are going to be able to hear this, but I've already shown Ram my amazing skills on guitar.
What's going to be really good is you're going to hear all you're going to hear is the noise of the mic.
You're going to hear a thud on the microphone, but this is guitar over there. The Where Is Tom song.
I'm going to listen to this and see. Here we go. Shall we see?
Yeah, we did it work.
This is great audio. No,
nothing.
No, that was a total and abject waste of time.
Just like this podcast.
we can edit that in. We can edit that in.
Yeah, I was just like, ding. Quick, get the microphones. Yeah. Set it all up. There you go. And there's ding. Here you go. And I'll splice it in.
Yeah. Now, we have got a minor technical issue this week.
Minor. Yeah. Very minor.
Yeah. For games we've been playing mainly. The answer is Evening Cat, Seeing Cat, Evening Annie. The minor issue is none of us have been playing games.
No.
So what have you been streaming then for the last 2 weeks?
Well, I've been
just you killing yourself.
Yeah, well, attempting to. Yeah. I mean, I'll get to that in a second because I mean, suicide was. People would have thought it was suicide, maybe, possibly. No one would think anyone would be that stupid to do what I've been doing for the last week. But I have been playing East Memories of Salsetta, but I've only been doing like hour-long streams every goddamn time. So I've barely scratched the surface on the game at this point. Just note that if you were here for our last East chat, Adol is back on another adventure.
Another island?
Yeah. And
another boat back?
Forest. No, he arrived fine this time. Then he lost his memories, and now you have to find out why. And now I found out why, so I don't really know if I need to go any further. God did it.
Did he?
Yeah. God's a bit of a dick. Or the one who says he's a god's a bit of a dick. And so that's why I lost my memories and now I'm sad. But when I actually finish the game, I'll let people know what it's like. But I put off East Memories of Salsetta for the longest time because it came out originally on PlayStation Vita. And I was like, this is kind of a big TV experience, you know. So I'll see if it ever comes out on big TV. Came out on PC. I've now played it through, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, I really wish I'd have played this before on the Vita. Still a very good game, but kind of wish I hadn't waited all that time.
Right. So, what have you been doing then?
So for the last, since Monday, did I mention in the last podcast I've been looking into the holy grail of arcade boards?
No.
So, my eldest son has gotten into fighting games. And both of my boys like going to amusement arcades. And with us living on, we live in a seaside town, we used to have pretty good arcades. You know, back in the 90s and even in the early 2000s. Claremont Pier, South Pier, and even Alton Broad Amusements had some pretty good stuff. I mean, we had a good selection of pinball. All different kinds of arcade machines. We were one of the few places in the world that had the full sit-down simulator for F-Zero AX. Lowestoft had it. No fucker else had it. It was bizarre. We had a multi-thousand-pound simulator set-up at the end of the South Pier.
So you think it ever made its money back?
No. Actually, I might have done because when we were in college and university, me, Weasel, and Scribs put in fucking hundreds to that machine, just us lot. It was £1 of credit.
Yeah,
and the credit only lasted for about between a minute and a half and 3 minutes.
Oof.
Yeah.
But then you've got to consider, the electricity costs, the maintenance costs, the cleaning of all the various, ingrained bits of skin from all the various people playing it.
Vomit from when people get jogged up and down. And
Yeah.
it was a very fun cab, but we don't have anything like that anymore. And as I say, my eldest son has got into fighting games, and I kind of wanted him to play. I wanted him to play a fighting game, to experience a fighting game on an arcade cabinet. Now, we've had arcade cabinets for years. Since about 2014, we've had some Golden Tee cabinets in the garage. But I did some basic repairs on them years ago, like basically connecting up power supplies and stuff. But I never actually really did any work on them. So last year, I joined a forum called UK VAC, UK Video Arcade Collectors. And that was to buy PC Engine stuff. I bought a big box full of PC Engine gear last year, and I thought, you know what, I want to try and get some arcade boards for the boys. We can easily get an arcade machine. I'll just buy some bits from them. They always sell stuff quite cheap on there. They're all quite friendly. Let's see what we can do. And just randomly, I wanted to get, so the holy grail arcade boards for us are Capcom vs SNK2, which is a fighting game crossover between Capcom and SNK. Street Fighter Third Strike, Street Fighter 03, and my mum desperately wants a Space Invaders. All right. I also wanted SVC Chaos, which is SNK versus Capcom Chaos. And so I got into UK VAC, and chap has SVC Chaos on there. I'm like, ooh, I think I might have that, offering it at a reasonable price. Okay, I'll have it. He says, well, I also happen to have Street Fighter 2. 2 copies of Street Fighter 2, though, 2 different versions of Street Fighter 2, because I have quite a few. And I was like, okay, I'll have that. So we got those, and one of the versions of Street Fighter 2 required that you get what was called a CPS2 A board. So, for the most part, in old school arcades, your game was literally just a PCB loaded with chips. And you plug that into the cab, and that was all it would do.
Yeah,
right?
The cab was mainly empty.
Yeah, it was just literally like a board, some speakers, the control panel, a bunch of wires.
Yeah.
With the CPS2 was interesting in that instead of having a board, you had a cartridge. So it was almost like a console in arcade form. So you'd plug your CPS2 board A into your harness and into your speakers. And then if you wanted to play Street Fighter 2, you put your Street Fighter 2 cartridge on the top, boot up the machine, Street Fighter 2. When Street Fighter 2 isn't profitable anymore, you pop off your Street Fighter 2 cartridge and you pop on Street Fighter 03 or something like that. You can cycle the games around easily. It's not a case of having to remove a delicate PCB anymore. It's just a big old hefty cartridge now.
Things like I didn't go to case much, but I always remember that things like the control panel stuff were always different for different games. So,
yes.
But that implies that control panel's got to be the same for all the games, unless you change the control panel out as well.
Well, in the case of CPS2 games, you'd usually be looking at stuff like, Street Fighter 2, which is stick and 6 buttons. Street Fighter 0, stick and 6 buttons. 02, stick and 6 buttons.
Yeah.
3, stick and 6 buttons. The Capcom versus Street Fighter. Was it? Marvel versus Capcom. Sorry, my brain just went then. Again, stick, 6 buttons. So you didn't have to worry too much.
But what about like the sort of the case graphics and stuff like that? Or just general.
You'd generally just have it. They'd get a kit, and you could just vinyl over the sides of them. You'll actually find with a lot of arcade cabinets, if you peel back some layers on the side of the cabinet, you'll have
multiple.
Yeah, different artworks on them. So you'll find some people buy a ratty old arcade.
So
cabinet.
this isn't something that you do like on a day-to-day basis. It's something you do like every few months. You change it out. And
yeah, if it turns out that it stops making money, because each machine has like a coin counter in the coin slot. You've got your coin coin mechanism, and then at the back there will just be a counter, like a little, rotary counter. So every time a coin goes in, the number goes up. When that obviously starts to slow down, and even in the test bars, it'll say like how much money has the machine earned within the last 2 weeks, and it'll actually tell you how many coins have gone into it. I guess as soon as you see that drop, you're like, okay, well we'll change what's in the machine. Yeah. So we bought the CPS2. We bought the Street Fighter games from the same guy, along with SVC Chaos, but I didn't get an A board for CPS2, so I then had to go online and buy a CPS2 A board. In looking for a CPS2 A board to plug the cartridge parts in, we found Street Fighter 03, which me and my wife went halves on. That was a 300 quid cart. So the A board and the B board together was nearly 300 quid. So we basically built up a box of arcade boards. I found a single slot Neo Geo board because I'm quite into Neo Geo games or SNK fighting games. So is my eldest son. His favourite fighting game is Galro Mark of the Wolves, which is a 4-button Neo Geo game. So we had to get a 1-slot Neo Geo, so we could get Galro or something like that for it. Samurai Showdown's another good one, 4-button SNK game. King of Fighters series, 4-button SNK game. So we've basically bought a few little pieces of hardware that would allow us to play a lot of games if we felt like it. So we then run into a bit of a problem. We've got all these arcade boards coming through, but we don't actually have a functioning cabinet to put them in.
Issue.
Yeah. So we've got the 2 golden tees outside, but as stupid as this sounds, I didn't feel confident in wiring up a 6-button control harness. Now, note that I've modified shite tons of fight sticks for like PlayStations and Xboxes and stuff like that, which is basically the same thing as what I've just done this last week. It's put in your buttons into the holes, wire them up, and you're pretty much good to go. But I didn't feel confident in just drilling the holes and stuff like that. Simple stuff, but I just didn't have the confidence. I felt really down. But my wife's like, hey, look what I've just found. There's an arcade cabinet being sold in Lowestoft. And it already had 6 buttons, 6-button control panel, sticks were already there. It was pretty much ready to go. I was like, okay, cool. Looked like a bit of a rat, but I assumed it would have, because it had MAME on it. The multiple arcade machine emulator or whatever it's called. So one would assume it was a PC of some kind in an arcade machine hooked up to a random device to interpret arcade buttons as a control pad or something. So I was like, okay, cool, fair enough. The screen works on this one, which is nice. I didn't want to take apart one of my other cabinets because one of my other cabinets is so close to being fully functional and in original condition. I was like, I don't really want to gut that to turn it into a kind of a hack job machine like what all these other ones were. I'll buy a cheap cabinet. So we go into bid on this cabinet. I'm asking the guy questions about it. He's not answering me. As soon as you ask him a single technical question, he just backs down. Okay, warning flag number 1.
Some books is the run away flag.
Yeah, pretty much. But we, like I said, we had, at this point probably about somewhere, let me think, 300 quid for Street Fighter 03. You're talking probably another 150 quid's worth for the other stuff, 50 quid for the Neo Geo. We had close to half a grand's worth of arcade kit upstairs at this point that we couldn't use. So we needed a cabinet. And because I can't drive and I weren't really willing to pay a huge amount to get this stuff delivered, because shipping an arcade cabinet across country ain't going to be cheap, especially when you don't drive. You have to pay someone by the hour to drive it down here. I was like, okay, look, this is going to be the best chance we're going to get. So I ask him, where is it? He doesn't answer me. Okay. The wife starts bidding on it. I said to her, only put in a small amount, 50 quid. The golden tea cabinets we have in the garage, we paid less than 50 quid for the pair. Right? So we're bidding on it. And all of a sudden, this random, no-name person, no feedback, the bids just start going up. And I was like, okay, this is really funky. Okay. The wife manages to get him to say what's in the machine. He just says it's a main cabinet. I message him again. He doesn't say a word to me. I ask him, like, has it got a JPAC in it, which is an arcade interface? Does it have an iPack in it? It's another arcade interface. No reply. But he was fine with talking to the wife. Okay. So, roll on a little bit. The arcade stuff gets delivered. We desperately need an arcade cabinet. The price has gone above what my wife is willing to pay. It is really over what I'm willing to pay, but we need it. So I say, look, right, fuck it. 140 quid, all in, or 145 quid in, all in. He wanted 150 for it, initially, until we started bidding on it. It weren't worth 150 quid. I ended up paying about 143 for it. It wasn't worth it. The guy wouldn't give me his address. It took over a week for us to try and get his address. When he said, oh yeah, I'm free on XYZ days, we try and get in contact with him on them days. He's busy. We finally arranged to go and pick it up. Some other things happened to stop us from going to pick it up. I couldn't go and view it. Someone else had to go and pick it up for us. So they just pick it up, lob it into the back of the van.
They don't know different. They don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah, they have no idea. They get it here. I look at it, and my God, it was a fucking nightmare. It was all of my worst nightmares come at once, okay? So, my hopes were that it would have been a main PC with a JPAC interface going into a jammer harness. Jammer is your standard arcade harness. Your buttons connect into your harness connects up to your arcade board, everything is then translated through the harness to the board, okay? Everything works, you just plug it in and it goes. JPAC, same kind of thing. You plug your jammer harness into the JPAC relays the information to the PC, emulates a control, bickety bam, job done. So you don't have to change anything in your cabinet, the JPAC does all the work. I look at the PC, I understand how that's going to work too, but I'll get to that in a second, but there's no JPAC. There's no JPAC. Okay.
So basically it's non-functioning.
So what he'd gone and done was, there's a trick for arcades called Soft 15K. It's a mod to some graphics cards that allow you to run a VGA graphics card at 15 kilohertz, which arcade monitors generally take. And I'd heard this hack years and years ago, and I looked into the back of the cabinet, there's no jammer harness. There is a harness there, but I don't recognize it. There's also a VGA cable has been hacked, like chock-blocked, into the monitor. But this monitor can't take VGA, because VGA is 31K, and this isn't a 31K monitor. The guy says, don't worry, I'll send you some pictures of how you're supposed to set it up. He doesn't send them. I think, fuck it, it's a PC, how hard can it be? Plug it in, plug in his fucking shitty PC speakers that he's got mounted in the cabinet, plug in the subwoofer. The machine doesn't work. Okay, the screen's flickering like mad. No idea what the fuck's going on. Pull out my VGA monitor, go up into the loft, grab a VGA monitor, connect it up. Okay, I realize there's a boot issue here. Press F1, continue. Okay, cool. Disconnect it, plug it back into the arcade cabinet. The arcade cabinet now boots up. It's Windows XP. The fans sound atrocious. It sounds like there's something caught in the fans. It's awful. The screen has got a horrible green tint to it. It doesn't look good. The controls feel janky. Alright. I managed to launch a game. It's running too fast. Just standard Street Fighter 2 is the most played game on the cabinet according to the main play counter. Exit. Okay. Let's find another version of Street Fighter. Load up the first version of Street Fighter that came out. Street Fighter 2, sorry. And that loads up. Great. Okay, cool. The screen's a bit green, but okay, I can handle that. Okay, we've got an arcade machine. We can't use it for what we were going to use it for, but we've got a main machine and a functioning arcade cabinet. Okay? It's a bit pointless because it's just emulation, but whatever. So, I'm playing Street Fighter, and I'm like, hang on a minute, why am I getting my ass kicked? And then I realise, Street Fighter is a 6-button layout. Punch, punch, punch at the top. So light, medium, and heavy punches are the top 3 buttons. Bottom 3, light, medium, heavy kick. Okay? But that's not what the buttons are on this machine. The kicks and the punches are reversed. I'm getting my ass handed to me because the buttons just aren't right in my head.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. So I play a couple of matches. I start to learn the new layout. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Just for a laugh. Just load up player 2. Player 2's buttons are fine. Okay. But then I find an issue. If player 2 jumps towards player 1's side, so if they up left diagonal, it coins up. It adds a credit. No reason for it, just adds a credit. Okay.
Well, it's a wiring reason somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's what you'd assume, right? But then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's try another game. Street Fighter Alpha. Buttons are still dodgily wired on player 1's side, but not on player 2's. Okay. Still coins up if you jump. But it's running like crap. And this is like, I mean, anything can run Street Fighter Alpha. We were playing Street Fighter Alpha on a Pentium 4 back when I was in high school. Right? So there should have been no issue. But it was running like crap. Okay. Find another game. Fatal Fury. The buttons are wrong again. Okay. Play a couple matches, but it's just, the screen's just not right. The buttons aren't right. Let's try Metal Slug. It's just a side-scrolling shooter. Same button layout as your Fatal Fury game, because it was SNK, but the buttons were the wrong way round, as expected with this cabinet so far. But all of a sudden, there's this weird issue. Trying to move left and right doesn't work. Worked fine on Street Fighter, but now you're looking up and you're looking down. I think right was up, down was left. It was the buttons were all just completely wrong on the stick. So all of a sudden the stick is now mapped incorrectly. These are all just emulation issues. We could have ironed this out, but I was starting to get a bit frustrated with it. So I start looking into what the interface is, and it turns out it's an iPack. Find the iPack software on the computer, load it up, and it says, would you like to load up a control configuration? You go, okay, sure, I'll load up a configuration. And one of the configurations, I shit you not, the main one that was loaded was called Good Enough. It hadn't even been properly configured. The game that had been mostly played on this machine was unplayable because it was running at high speeds. The buttons were fucking all mapped wrong. I found out that it was running soft 15 on a graphics card to make it work on the thing. The screen wasn't set up correctly, so like some games were kind of cut off on the sides or cut off on the tops. I was starting to get ratty, so I turned it off because I really wanted to show the boys the cabinet because they really wanted to play some arcade games. I turn it off, and I'm like, okay, I'm fucking pissed off, but you know what? After a couple of hours of kind of boiling on it, I'm like, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to change the configurations. But the PC wouldn't turn back on. The PC, just a continuous beep. It wouldn't turn on at all.
Which is BIOS language for something's really fucked.
Yeah, basically. And I was like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I go into the cabinet and I start looking at all the chock-blocked VGA and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to convert this into a jammer machine. I have no idea what any of this is, but I'm going to convert it into a jammer machine. So we get a jammer harness through.
With what Annie's saying, he's mentioned that most cabinets in the 1990s you could easily switch out the controls. And I was saying it's a typical case of I do not know what I want. I do not know what I want, nor what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. And Sincat saying the config should have been renamed Cindy Pauper, good enough.
Right. So, I mean, it is true. If you want to change arcade button layouts, you could literally just lift off buttons and just pop.
Yeah, so just change the wires around.
Yeah. So, although you couldn't in this case, the buttons were cheap and they were shitly soldered together.
So you didn't even use tails on them, so you could just swap them around.
Nope. Some of them had. Some of them.
Could you even unscrew the buttons so you could like switch the buttons around physically?
No, not unless you desoldered them.
So basically, he put them together, didn't bother to actually test it before he permanently mounted it.
Nope. It was fucking amazing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn this into a jammer machine. I am going to gut the shit out of this thing. And we're going to turn it into a jammer machine. But then this is where my nightmare gets even worse. Like I said, I had hoped it would just be a jammer board, so or some kind of jammer interface, just so I could get it going. But it turns out the machine was never jammer compatible to start with. So we were running a Sega Model 2 arcade cabinet. I buy a jammer harness, because obviously I said I didn't recognize the harness that was already in there, right? I buy a jammer harness, and the video portion of the harness won't connect into the monitor. It's not the same connection. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, this means I'm going to have to start clipping wires, I'm going to have to start splicing things.
It's all pulled together from lots of different components, hasn't it?
Mm. And so I was like, okay, so the VGA cable's already chock blocked, but if I cut that, then that means I ruin the VGA mod, so that means I can't connect up another computer again if I want to, or if I get to the point where I can't turn it into a main cab, like, you know, as a fallback. Well, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm just going to cut the harness, my new harness, and I'm going to cut this thing's harness, and I'm going to connect up the wires. I've ordered another £100 worth of parts to go into this machine at this point. So, new harness, new buttons, and a kind of a jammer board that I don't mind sacrificing, like a 60-in-1 thing, just so I can test the harness to make sure I've wired it up right, you know? Because I'm not going to connect up one of the games that I've just spent 300 quid on to make sure I haven't fucked up the thing.
Oh, is there voltage issues there?
Well, that's it, because if the power supply wasn't configured correctly, you'd just fry the game. So I just wanted to get my head around fucking around with these things to start with, and thankfully it turns out it still had its arcade power supply in it. I pull out my meters and the power supply is still good. In fact, it's great. The power supply in it was fucking amazing. It was on the button. You know, -5 was -5. 12 was 12. Fucking, you know, +5, plus. It was fucking great. Most arcade power supplies, there's a bit of a float in it. So, you know, you go to 5, that might be like 5 and a bit.
Yeah,
you know,
or
4.8.
Yeah.
You know, but this one was...
Well, it'll be for back then they were built, so that didn't matter so much.
Pretty much. So, or it's built so cheaply because, like, these are from China, because it's like a cheapy switch and power supply that, you know, people buy in bulk for like £5 each or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but this one in this machine was fucking great. I was like, oh my god, man, it's on the button. Okay, start connecting up my harness, because I know how to connect up a jammer harness to a power supply. Gravy. And I realized I have to start splicing cables, and I'm like, right, this is the moment of truth. Okay, fuck it, snip, and I just cut the VGA mod.
Yeah. That is that moment, isn't it? Where you like, there's no going back now.
Yeah, cut the harness. And I was like, okay, we're just gonna go, because it was already chock blocked to soldery anyway. I'd figured out that the bit that had been chock blocked was the video out, or I assumed it was the video out. I was like, okay, fucking, I've educated guess here. I'll say that's video. Okay, snip. Let's start trying to put these together. Red, green, and blue. Global red, green, and blue. But hang on a minute. There's an odd wire here that I haven't seen this before in an arcade cabinet. It's blue and white. Look online. No one mentions a blue and white wire coming off the monitor. Shit. Okay. Well, black is usually ground, and our grounding wires, our earthen wires, are normally green and green
and yellow.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. Because there is a white wire on the harness, there's a white wire coming off the monitor, so that must be that, because white on the harness was sync. So okay, maybe that's sync. So I put them together. Not a whole hell of a lot. I mean, something came up on the screen, but it was all fucking wibbly and all over the place, and you couldn't see anything. Okay, so I've just soldered these wires together. I'm going to desolder them again, and I'll try it the other way around. Okay, same kind of result. Okay. I contact the guys on UK VAC, and initially, no joy. You know, I didn't really want to post such a noob question on there, but admittedly, I'm a fucking noob, you know. I've never seen this monitor before. I don't know.
That's what the whole point of these forums exists for.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't. They're mostly for trading and talking about the gear you've got. But they do, you know, there's some really nice guys on there. And if your monitor's broken, there's a guy on there that can fix it. If you need control layouts made, there's a guy on there that'll make them for you. If you need a cheap starter cabinet, I should have gone there to start with. Yeah. Anyway, so I desolder it, and I kind of give up. I can't get the sync to work. You know, I've tried both ways that I think it's going to work, and I can't get it to go. So we chat on the forums for a bit, and it turns out that my cabinet might actually be a little bit out of spec for what I thought it was. So I thought the arcade monitors only really ran at two frequencies, 15K and 31K. 15K being standard arcade, and 31 was like VGA for later stuff. So like higher resolution, higher refresh, all that kind of stuff. Turns out this monitor runs at 25. And I was like, oh, so I can't...
I can't watching American films then.
It's fucking... But I couldn't... So my harness, my games would only run on 15. And the board that I had would only run on 15. So I was like, well, shit, it's 25. I can't do anything with this. We're still kind of in a bit of a mix-up about what wires went where. But the guys confirmed that I was in the right area for matching everything up. So I then go out and buy... I've desoldered all the wires, and I thought, like, this is getting stressful. I can't even find my fucking solder at this point. I was using lead-free solder, and I fucking hate that stuff. It's crappy. Don't use lead-free solder, please. Use real solder. Use a man's solder. Use lead-based solder.
Get your poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking you inhale them fumes, and you fucking enjoy
Watch your hair fall out.
It's a fucking great
Go
stuff.
mad.
I've always soldered with lead-based solder, so fuck it, that's what I'm always going to use.
That's not to me anyhow.
I mean, literally, I had this lead-free solder. I said I'd never solder with lead-free solder, and that's when everything was going wrong, so I was like, oh, you fucker. I said I'd never use this stuff, and now I have, I'm doomed. So, I bought some, are they Wago? Like Wago terminals.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, you just get one wire, you know, trim the wire, slot it in, push the terminal down on it, it's locked in place, get the other wire you want to join into it, boom, close it in, there you go. And I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. I've always referred to them as Scotch locks.
Sure, fair enough.
So, but I think that's a brand name.
Yeah. Well, so, you know, so Wago.
Yeah. That's what
you know, you either have screw-in terminals or you know, so I was, you know, like chock blocks.
You should put you know, spade terminals on one and on the other, and then you can just swap them around to your heart's content. Then.
Well, yeah, that's what I might do that, or I might just look. I figured out how it works now, so I'll probably just solder them up. But either way, because I mean, whoever did the mod actually did the mod quite cleanly. Well, it was a fucking mess, but the connections for sync and the colors actually had I can't remember what the terminals are. I've been like 2 and 3 pin terminals you normally find on a motherboard. For like your power supply.
You have
I can't remember the type of connection, but either way,
yeah, it's like a Molex connection.
Yeah,
mini Molex.
Yeah, kind of like those, and they're paired up together quite nicely. But I've already trimmed those, so not doing that. So I get the old Wago so I can quickly swap out if I fucked up. So okay, I'll try this way. That didn't work. Flip it, like take one of the wires out, put it in, clip it down again. I don't have to worry about soldering or anything. Still nothing. Turns out, you know, it's a 25K monitor. So you probably ain't going to get a decent signal out of whatever. And you've probably wired the wires around the wrong way anyway. It's like, for fuck's sake. So someone says, don't worry. I think you might be able to switch from 25 to 15. Like some of these monitors are switchable. Excellent. Where's the switch? Can we identify the monitor? Can we fuck? We've got a rough guess, but once I start poking around, me and a couple of the guys on the forum figure out what monitor I've got. So, is it a pot? Is it a dip switch? Is it a jumper? Okay, I ain't got a clue. Then one of the guys goes, I think this is what you're looking for. And it's this fucking great big terminal on the board. You connect the connection up to 1. It's running at 25. Connected into the other, it's running into 15. The trouble is, all of the adjustment pots are on the end of the monitor. I don't want to go anywhere near. Okay, I've got this kind of fear about being at the back of a CRT.
An anode and a cathode.
Yeah, I don't want to be anywhere near those fucking things. And all the adjustments are at the bit where I'm closest to getting zapped. And so I'm like basically brown shorting it constantly. And I was like, okay, we've roughly figured out where it is. I actually poke my head in. I'm like so close to touching the fucking tube. I'm like
sparks are flying.
Yeah, I'm like
everywhere.
freaking the fuck out at this point. And and it turns out it's set to 25. So I'm like, okay, look, the only way... I mean, the guy was running soft 15 on a 25k fucking screen. No wonder it weren't running properly anyway. Christ. So thankfully, I've been... This is my learning process. So I man up and I say, look, the only way I'm going to do this is if I discharge a CRT, which is why I haven't worked on one of my Golden Tee machines, because it needs to be... I need to poke the CRT and not die. So, and if you fuck this up, well, there's a potential there that you get a nasty zap and die. Or you might get a nasty zap and just feel really, really bad because you've done a really stupid thing. Depends, really.
I'll be fine. I'm used to I've zapped with electric fences enough times.
Yeah, fucking you are now immune.
Yeah. I wouldn't say immune. That's the wrong word, but it's like, while I'm going... screaming in pain. I just go, for fuck's sake, not again.
God damn it, son of a bitch! I did it again. So I order some crocodile clips, so I can just wire up this monitor. I didn't have any spare wire laying about. I didn't want to start hacking up any more harnesses and stripping wire and wiring it about, like manually wrapping it around connections on the monitor. So I ordered some crocodile clips and they arrived like the next day or the day after. And I'm like, okay, I've been working on this monitor since Wednesday. I've never discharged a monitor before in my life. I've heard horror stories of people discharging monitors. This isn't an easy monitor to get to, by the way. The
stories I hear about monitors, either people say, oh, that's right, worse, you'll get a nasty shock, to if you do this, you're dead for the rest of your life. Well,
I was going to say, death isn't the same as, it's not as much of a problem as it used to be.
That didn't come out quite
That was great. I love that.
It didn't come out quite how I meant. But, yeah.
Death isn't quite the handicap it used to be. I mean, you can get jobs now,
Yeah. Well.
No need to worry about life insurance anymore.
Yeah.
But,
a red dwarf truck, they say that.
It was... And
he got zapped by a PSU once.
So I don't mind getting zapped by a power supply. I do mind getting zapped by a fucking arcade monitor. Watching one of those things arc.
Sure, it's high voltage, low amperage, it's fine.
Well, see, the thing is, I've never worked on something with such high voltage before.
Voltage is fine. Don't worry about voltage, it's the amps.
Yeah, it's the amps that kill you, but still, man. I'm like...
electric fences, they sit around about 9.9 kilovolts.
Yeah, you're fine.
Certainly. I'm not worried.
You're fine. Just don't piss on it.
That's absolutely fine. Pissing on's fine.
Yeah, no, it's a break. Sorry.
Unless you're within about an inch, which I did once, and without realising that does hurt.
Good job, Ram.
Yeah.
Good job. See, I should have had you discharge the monitor.
Yeah, I've been a moon.
So I ordered the stuff, and I was like, look. So here's the trick with my Golden Tee cabinets. You literally just take the back off, and you can see it. You can see like the anode. And you just like, okay, there it is. Boop. And you just poke it, and you're done. With this cabinet, the monitor has a nice piece of wood behind it.
Nice.
So you have to duck down and then stick your arm in around the chassis and the casing, and then try and kind of poke around the back to get to roughly where you want to be without killing yourself. It's great. Considering you've never done it, this is a good one to try for your first time, right? No way you're going to get confidence boost here. Yeah. Just like, I'm going to do this right or I'm dead.
You're standing on a rubber mat and you've got one hand in your pocket?
No, I just thought, fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm fucking going. Because, I mean, it was literally a case of I'm wobbling and I'm kind of rubbing a screwdriver but at the back of a CRT. So, as I poked the... I mean, I was so freaked out because I was using cheap crocodile clips. I actually got my meter out to check for continuity and that. And I actually checked to see if there was actual metal in these fucking clips.
These real Chinese wires, or are they actually just plastic inside?
Yeah, like that's it. Like, is this really a crocodile? I was actually worried about it. I was like, is there actually any connection being made here or what? Yeah. So I actually checked. Good thing I did. No, they were fine. So I go in.
Fused immediately afterwards, he worried.
I checked them again. Like the second time I went to use them, I checked them again. So second time, I did it. I survived. Spoiler alert.
You weren't dead for the rest of your life then?
No, that's it. It was crazy. Like I was only literally possibly dead for a split second, and the universe corrected itself when I was back. So, no, it was great. I managed to go in. I poked the thing.
Of course, if you were at the multiverse fee, there is like infinite number of universes where you are dead.
Yeah, there are. And many a time I was dead at that moment. But it cracked, and I swear I could have done with a clean pair of shorts right there, but I just about managed to hold it in. Just about managed to hold it in. And then I was like, hang on a minute. I should probably check this again. and I didn't expect it to make, because it made a fucking vicious crack the first time.
Ah, the old arcing.
Yeah. Second time round, I poke it. I'll be fine. I'm just gonna give it a poke, and all of a sudden I go tap, and I'm like, ah! Fucking almost fly back 300 feet. Like if I could have launched through a wall, I would have done. You know, I was like, okay, I think we're good. Just give it another 30 seconds. I'll try again. Ah! Start fucking poking around the back of the monitor. Okay, there's nothing. Okay, it's fine. I'll get the screwdriver. I'm still like, I don't really want to do this thing. Fucking unscrewing the chassis from the frame. Pull it, and I can see that it's in the 25. Move it into 15. Gingerly push the tray back. Screw it back into place. Plug in the machine. Turn it on, and then I'm dead. Nah, I walked around to the front of the cabinet, and bickety bam, job done. Sync issue sorted. It was set to the wrong fucking thing, wasn't it? It was on 25 rather than 15. Okay, we now have picture. It's all over the place because the horizontal hasn't been set correctly, vertical hasn't been set correctly, but whatever. Fucking don't worry about that. So it turns out the next issue is...
It's good enough.
Yeah, well, I had an image on the screen and that was solid, so I'm cool with that. The next issue is I'd have to take off the glass, which would mean I'd have to take off the marquee, which would mean I'd have to take off the control panel, and the dude's done this really bizarre hack job to hold the control panel in place, so I had to rip that off so the control panel was no longer in place. Ugh. The marquee was this bizarre fucking... I wanted to cry when we found out what kind of machine it was. When we found out it was a Sega Model 2 arcade machine with the higher monitor, and it was a Virtual Striker 2. If the guy knew what he was doing beforehand, he would not have bought that cabinet to turn into a main machine.
Well, it's all the same, though, aren't they?
Well, clearly
that's the trouble. You see, that's all the same.
That's it. That's what, because I didn't realise it was a 25k monitor. Now I know.
Yeah.
So I do that, and I start taking apart the guy's handiwork. The next day I go in after I've discharged it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take off the marquee.
Did you check it again?
Oh, I did. I've done it 5 times now. 5 or 6 times, and I'm still not dead. Believe it or not. This is real. I'm here. Or it could be a ghost. You don't know. I'm actually kind of enjoying doing it now. So building up confidence. But then confidence comes with a fall, so I'm probably going to kill myself at some time over the next couple of weeks. I start to try and take off the marquee because he's put like PC speakers at the top of the cabinet, and the only way I could see to get to the speakers was to go behind the fucking CRT, and I'm like, there's no room in there to move to get those speakers. No chance. I'm going in through the front. I'll take off the marquee and we'll see if we can do it that way. Fuck me. The motherfucker had epoxied, 2-part epoxied, these fucking PC speakers to the front of the marquee. They were fucking stuck. You couldn't even move.
The one that sounded awful.
Oh,
He's probably screwed the fucking what do you call it?
The whole thing was the speakers were epoxied to the base of the cabinet and to the bit that holds the light that you pull forwards. So there's a bit in the marquee that you can pull out that has speakers on it. All right? You can pull it forwards and then you can like wire them up, and then throw the wires back down the cabinet and connect them up to your harness, right? So then that way you can easily repair them and then push it back in, and it's built in such a shape that it won't fall back down into the cabinet. But he's epoxied his speakers, one of them, to this thing, so I can't even pull it out. And when I start to try and pull it, he's epoxied it in 2 places. I start to crack the frame, just a little bit for the marquee. I'm like, fuck's sake. So I fucking pull up my soldering iron and I'm trying to melt this fucking epoxy. I end up pulling out fucking hacksaw blades and I'm just doing it with my hand, just trying to hack through the speakers in the end. I'm fucking losing my temper with it. And I'm like, right, that's it. I've had enough of this. I'm fucking destroying all of the stuff that this dude has done with this cabinet. And let's go in the fuck in the bin. So I'm just ripping, I ripped the buttons out of it and fucking throw them on the floor. The iPack that he had in there, just fucking threw it on the side in the fucking garage. I was like, you piece of fucking shit. This is not how you treat an arcade cabinet. This is a hack job. Start fucking cutting out the fucking speakers. Like, don't remove them, just fucking cut them out. Fucking pull them off the fucking thing. So I've ripped all of the shit out of it. The shitty VGA mod, ripped it out. It's fucking gone. So look, long story short, and I'm kind of padding for the podcast here. This has probably been like 40 minutes of me ranting about an arcade machine.
44.
Yeah, we called it the Ratcade, by the way. I've learned now. I'm not so worried about doing monitor work. I still won't rotate them on it, so I won't take the actual glass out of the frame. But I don't mind disconnecting the chassis and sending off the chassis for repair if it needs it, which one of mine does. So I can now do that. I can now wire up the buttons because I said I refuse to wire up any new buttons until I get the monitor working. Monitor's working. I don't know how to wire up the coin mech though because it's using a Sega Model 2 interface for the service and volume switches and all that, so I haven't wired that up yet. But I am so glad to have ripped out all of that guy's stuff, and because it's crap, it was all crap. Like it was just like I want to have an arcade cabinet, but I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm not going to properly learn. I'm just going to half read something and bodge it.
Yeah, which is the VGA mod he did. I'm surprised he even managed to get it to work, to be honest. But I mean, he did it somehow. But there was more wires there than he really needed.
Probably more through luck than judgment.
Possibly. So I took it all out. I've ripped all the speakers out. I'm gonna get some new plexi for the marquee. I'm gonna completely redo the control panel because he's hacked the shit out of that too. Which is literally just a piece of MDF and then shape it and then get a sink bit and drill 28mm holes in it. And I'm gonna rebuild the arcade. I mean, for what should have been a £50 purchase to just simply plug in some arcade boards, has turned into, I think I've probably spent now, if you look at the extra boards, buttons, and other stuff that I've now bought, it's 150 to start with delivered, which is, we shouldn't have paid anywhere near that. I've probably spent in the regions of between 300 £400 on that cabinet. Now there's a guy on UK VAC who would have sold me a full-blown 32-inch like CRT size Tekken 5 cabinet for 250.
But think of the lovely learning experience you've had.
That's what
you've developed as a human being as a result of this shitty cabinet.
Well, and that is it, because my family have said, why don't we buy another cabinet from one of the guys from UK VAC? And I actually feel so much more confident now, because as I say, I've never discharged a monitor before.
Yeah.
I've never took a monitor chassis apart before. If it weren't for this cabinet being such a fucking state and being such an oddball, because it's not, it wasn't like, oh, I've bought a jammer cabinet and now I'm just going to plug in a harness, or I've got a whatever and I'm just going to plug the fucking jammer harness into the monitor. No, this actually took some work to get going, and a bit of research and a fair bit of learning. This has been crazy fun. I haven't been as psyched for a project in ages. I've never wanted to scream as much sometimes, though, like looking at it and finding that everything was epoxied. But I bought speakers for it. Like I say, we're buying new plexi for it. I'm psyched to do this.
So I got the same door through when I fix a bug in code that I've been struggling on for weeks. I just fixing, just realised it's something similar, and I bound out, say, I've done it, I've fixed it, I've bounced around the house before now, going, yay!
Yep.
Because it's just been exciting.
No,
so.
I will be honest, it's been great. I did make one brutal mistake. Okay, so on the monitor, so I was playing with the monitor today, there's a pot called H size, horizontal size. So I managed to line everything up roughly okay, like vertical was okay, roughly the right size, roughly the right place, but it was still, the image was just way too wide. So I find the coil that I have to adjust to change the width of the image. And I'm warned, not by someone on the forum, but I'm warned this can get hot. I'm like, okay, cool, it can get hot. Don't touch it. Don't use anything like just raw metal to go in there, because you will just fucking die. You'll burn yourself. Okay, cool. So I go clever. I go with a bit of plastic, or like a rubber handled whatever. It's not gonna take the heat too bad. So I start making these adjustments and nothing really seems to happen. And the tool is there for quite a while, you know, so it's definitely heating up. You know, I'm not feeling anything in the handle. I'm not feeling anything in the handle. I'm twisting and nothing's happening. When I pull the tool out and the end of it's smoking. Right, so at the end of it's smoking, I swear it's actually melted part of the metal. Like it's made it softer.
Why was it designed like that?
It's only horizontal on every monitor. But that's the same way you have to do it on every monitor. And most of the time you use a plastic tool for CRTs to do that. But here's the trick. So I know it's hot. I can see it's hot. And I got to put it down and I think, no, you know what? That didn't work. So maybe I wasn't screwing, or maybe I didn't have a proper connection. I should change the bit. And stupidly, thankfully, because I've been soldering and stuff, so my hands have been quite numb because of my problems with my hands.
I know what's about to happen.
I grab the end of the bit and pull it out, and I'm like, oh shit, that's hot, as I feel the ends of my thumb and finger tingling.
The smoky bacon.
And I drop the bit onto the cabinet, and I'm like, oh shit, I've burnt myself, because obviously I've got quite a numb feeling in my hands. And then all of a sudden I just went like this, my head just went,
I feel pain now.
I was just like, ow. You fucking idiot. And it's just like, oh, that's a bit, because the worst I got ever was a tingling. I've still just got a tingling in my fingers now. But I've burnt. Yeah. I've burnt away my
He's currently branded.
So I had a bit of a Men in Black moment where I took away my fingerprint. I was like, you motherfucker.
You commit crimes now.
I was like, I knew that was going to happen, and I did it anyway, like a twat. I've managed to discharge a CRT, but still burnt myself adjusting the horizontal.
There's a tool in our culture, and we're now going to have our cultural lecture for the evening. If you have really clay soil, so clay soil is the really sort of like stuff that you get in your hand, you can smooth it, and almost like make a polish, like a ball out of it. It's so smooth. It's the really sort of silky stuff. When you plough, because you always plough to the same depth, you got to imagine you're all ploughing the same depth, which means you create like a barrier, you create like a layer where the plough never goes through, and they call this a plough plane, where basically the plough doesn't get through. Now also there's a problem because after a while, because it's clay, it smooths out and basically becomes like a basic, like it's like having.
So what you're saying is the layer just under where you're ploughing goes rock solid.
Yeah, so it's like having like a concrete slab there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, when you try and you grow plants, because a wheat plant that'll go about 4 or 5 meters down. Mm-hmm. That's how deep they grow into the ground. Obviously, it can't get through that. So they have what is called subsoiler.
Righto.
So imagine it looks a bit like a torpedo. It's about 2-3 foot long. And it's usually either metal or ceramic is very common. Usually solid ceramics weighs a bomb.
If you drop it on someone, they're dead.
Yeah, pretty much. So you get that. You then basically drag that into the soil through your plough plane as you put it, and then pull it along underneath the stove. So it's cracking all the soil, the clay up, and breaking it all up and cracking it all up. Mm-hmm. And then also you pull out the other end. What you mustn't do at that moment in time is, what one poor chap did was lean down and put his hand on it.
Yeah, friction's a bitch.
Yeah, friction's a lot bitch. And then gets out, and being ceramic, it holds heat very well.
Let's say, could you cook your breakfast on it?
Apparently you can cook bacon on it, I've been told.
God,
but
blimey.
The question is, we want to eat it afterwards is another matter.
Well.
And apparently I'm told that in certain soils, friction's so bad, if you do it at night, as it comes out, it's glowing slightly.
Oh, wow.
That's hot as... So I've been told, but I think there might be somebody exaggerating. But I could believe it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Word of advice, when things are really hot, yeah, I speak from experience at this point, don't fucking touch them.
Yeah. What you basically learnt is everything's the master is electricity, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Heat, don't mess with it.
Nope.
Electricity and heat.
Yeah, stay away.
Stay away.
Not your friend.
So, yeah, no.
Anything involving physics, which is everything. It's not your friend.
Yeah. Physics doesn't care about you. No.
You just happen to be there.
We've had a few comments. So, Screenset says, rant on brother. Skazz pierced with upper arms. I think it also recalls Neil grabbing the hot pot off.
Yeah, that's it. The lentil casserole.
Yeah.
That was exactly it, Sincat. That's what I did, mate. I was like, wow, this is really incredibly hot. And then I fucking waddle through. Yeah. Instead of putting it straight the fuck back down, just lob it on the floor in the dining room.
Yeah. And he says when he first saw the cabinets, he first thought was tear out the hat job and start again.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, like I said, I hoped it had a jammer harness in it. and it didn't. Because obviously it had a Sega Model 2 in it, because the guy didn't know what he was buying. So it was kind of a travesty that it was hacked to start with. But no, it's been, because it hasn't been a traditional
A little
job,
bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing.
it's been great to learn on.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been a standard cab, I've been like, okay, then cool. I've had to do a bit of woodwork. I've had to do electronics. I've had to not kill myself. It's been great.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to not burn myself.
And you've nearly managed that.
Yeah, nearly, It's just fucking great. I'm going to be wiring in speakers. I've got speakers and all that coming next week. Right, okay, so here's the trick. It was a MAME machine, meaning it was an emulation machine, but it was running through a PC. I'm going to be a bit naughty and I'm reverting it to an emulation machine.
Well, I was going to ask this question. What you're buying all these boards?
Mm-hmm.
Is it emulation not in a state that it's as good as a board?
Emulation is near flawless at this point. Well, MAME is pretty good depending on what you want to play. And in a lot of cases, so for example, if you buy the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, it's emulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was saying, do you have the boards just because it's nice to have them?
They're nice to have.
Is there any advantage to using the boards over?
Well, obviously the boards are going to be more accurate because they're hardware perfect.
Yeah.
So there might be the occasional bug in emulation, but that doesn't matter. Because I emulate a lot of stuff. I mean, if you play a Super Nintendo game on like the 3DS from Nintendo's eShop, that's emulation. You buy a Nintendo Classic, that's emulation. Sony, the PlayStation Classic that Tom got, that's emulation. Yeah. So emulation is pretty good. I would have liked the idea to have shown the kids, look, this is what because that's what this is. I just want to show my children what an arcade is.
Yeah.
They've gone to the arcades, but they're all shite round here now. And so I was like, let's play some games that I know you guys like using actual hardware in an actual arcade. Yeah. So, my trick now is, it's great that I've got these boards. We're probably going to buy a couple more machines. My wife has cleared it. My family have cleared it. We've said that we'd literally drive up to the Midlands to buy some more. Because there is a guy on UKVAC that's got a fucking warehouse full of old MAME machines. Could get Street Fighter Third Strike for £800 on a massive ass fucking cabinet. I mean, big cabinet. See that there?
Yeah.
So I've got a like a
that
unit
really doesn't help our purpose. It's a sideboard approximately 1 meter wide.
It's probably about the same size as that, if not bigger. And you can sit at it. So big cabinet. I mean, that's why I could have bought that cabinet for 250 quid.
Yeah.
Just the cabinet, no game. The telly and the cabinet with buttons and harness, I could have got for 250 quid. But then I wouldn't have learnt any of the stuff. Right. So what I've gone and done now is I've bought something called a Pi 2 jammer. And what that is...
I'm guessing it involves a Raspberry Pi.
Yes, it does. Fucking, you're a genius. How did you know?
Yeah.
What it does is it connects to the GPIO pins of a Raspberry Pi.
They should have called it the Raspberry Jam Pi.
They should have done. They really should have done. But the fucking missed there. See, Ram's fucking better. Come on, guys. Come on. Oh, silly bastards. Anyway, fucking Ram, why are you in marketing, mate? See, you missed your call.
I'm too smart.
Well, yeah. You are. You're not evil enough.
No, that's fair. I need to work out. I haven't got that knack just to want to screw over the general public.
That's generally it. You have to wear a suit. I find that really it does make you evil. A white guy wearing a suit, you instantly want to
Funny story about a suit today. I was leaving the house today, right, to come to this podcast and load up and put my stuff in the bag.
He's wearing a suit.
And my father says to me, he goes, "Where are you going?" So podcast says, "You can't go like that. I'm wearing, just so you know, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I'm instead wearing socks and shoes because I ain't got any sandals." And he goes, I said, "Why?" He says, "Well, it's not particularly dignified." I said, "They only see the top half and t-shirts."
Your dad knows me.
Yeah. I said, definitely said, "Well, next time, just for you, I'll go in with suit."
Well, fuck, man, I'll tell you what, I'll get my suit dry cleaned. We'll make it
next podcast, we're suiting.
Oh, fucking hell. By the way, wearing a suit makes me incredibly sick, and every time I wear a suit, the white man evil gene kicks in and I want to evict a low-income family from a house. straight
Good.
away.
Well, we'll do that afterwards.
Okay, cool. Because if not, I'll throw up everywhere.
We'll evict you from the house.
Yeah, that's it. Well, there's loads of people around here I'd like to evict. But yeah. So yeah, it's been rad. So I've bought a Pi 2 jammer. It converts.
Hello to Cobro 1.
It gives the Raspberry Pi RGB out, and at 15 kilohertz, so it'll be fully compatible with the
Raspberry Pis really are magical, aren't they?
They fucking are, mate. They're brilliant. And then you use an emulation distro on the Raspberry Pi, and I'm just going to load up all the fighting games.
Stephen Hawking used a Raspberry Pi.
He probably did.
For the last few months. No, he did. For the last few months of his life, his little talk box was powered via an emulation on his Raspberry Pi.
That's fucking metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the Raspberry Pi, the entire Raspberry Pi website is run on Raspberry Pis. Their servers are Raspberry Pis. Nothing hardcore, just Raspberry Pis.
Yeah, I suppose they're so slow.
Can I show though? I actually went out and bought another Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi, fucking, what is it, the 3A Plus. And I bought the official Raspberry Pi keyboard and mouse. And the case.
And the monitor?
Not yet. That's coming.
Did that monitor ever come out? The one that you were talking about, the 7-inch thing they were going to
No, they released another one. They actually released an official Raspberry Pi monitor with touchscreen. But I haven't bought that. Because I don't have the... my trouble is you have to put it together, and my hands just aren't great for ZIF. I'm shit at ZIF connections. So, I mean, I can discharge a monitor now, but I can't ZIF it
It's
up.
another learning experience for you.
Dude, I hate ZIF. I hate ZIF. I hate them so much. I really fucking hate them. Like, they make me want to cry whenever I see a ZIF connection on a board. I'm like, just fucking make it go away. Fucking hate them. And the Raspberry Pi's got plenty of them on it. Get rid of them. They fucking suck. Give me a solid ass connector. None of this fucking ZIF shite. Lame. Fuck, I'd rather just let me solder shit to the board. That'll do. I don't need no shitty connection with ribbon cables and...
Well, the version that Arduino released where you could solder everything to it rather than
gaff it.
Using headers.
Get me a hammer and just... There you go. Job fucking done. But so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to run the Pi 2 jammer with the emulation software for Street Fighter 3rd Strike and Alpha and SNK vs Capcom. The games that we've literally just bought. And then I'm going to hook that into the cabinet. So we'll have a multicade. Basically what we had before, just not a shitty PC running. The version of MAME on that PC, I haven't seen that version of MAME since I was a teenager. I mean, damn, son. I was running Windows XP. That was...
Nothing wrong with Windows XP. It's probably the last decent operating system they've ever released.
Yeah, for sure, but not with a fucking... Let's put it this way. The version of MAME was so old, 2/3 of the games that were actually on the machine...
Which version of XP was it?
Dude, I didn't check. Well, it's dead now. It's dead now.
You should just boot up and have a look to see if it's like Service Pack 1 or something at least.
Let's put it this way. The version of MAME on it was so old, 2/3 of the games that were actually included on the machine didn't run. They didn't run. Even Street Fighter 2, it struggled emulating Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter Alpha, it was like, no, mate, can't do that. And I'm like, what? We've been emulating Street Fighter Alpha for fucking millions of years. What the fuck? Samurai Showdown? No. King of Fighters? No. I was like, I can't be having this. This is atrocious. This is worse than the Stone Age. So we're going for the Pi setup because the Pi was 1, faster than the PC that was already in the machine. 2, we'll have the Pi 2 jammer, so 15K directly out to the monitor. It's going to be fucking great. It's going to be metal as fuck. And then I'm going to buy more arcade cabinets, fill my garage. We're going to set up a bar. I'll even get a disco ball to hang off the roof.
Well done.
I'm going to get a change machine as well.
Change machine.
And one of the guys from UK VAC was wanting to sell me, you know, the little sit-down ride-on toys?
Yeah.
The kids put 20p in and the kid sits in it and it just rocks them
Oh,
down.
yeah.
I'm going to get one of those and a claw machine. I'm going to put them out in my garage. That's what I've been doing.
What settings are you going to set up the claw machine to? To evil or...
Fucking, mate, I'll be wearing a suit standing next to the thing. That's going to be so evil, Satan's going to run the fuck away.
Yeah.
See?
I'll just do like what Moss did in the IT crowd, just getting to climb inside.
Yeah, climb in the machine so we can get an iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love that episode.
And they forgot about him, didn't they? At the end of the night, she's just sitting in bed, she just screams, Moss!
And it's just
I really need a wee now.
don't forget the internet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I love
the
that.
best bit. That bit.
Fucking there's
The
a box.
elders of the internet entrusted you with this. This is the internet.
I would love to say that to my kids. Like, if you don't fucking stop, I want to smash it.
Yeah, you
No
should
more
do.
internet.
You can get a little black box.
Oh,
I love there's at the in the finale she goes out, she gets the internet, she gets a little box of internet. Says, it's okay, we can, because there's like a viral video of her going out there. She's okay. I've got the internet, we can destroy it. And they go, oh yeah, we never told her we made that up, did we?
Oh, good times. I love
Good
that
time.
show. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, I love the IT crowd.
Good
Brilliant
time.
show. Actually, Father Ted, same people, brilliant.
I miss Father Jack.
Yeah, I was following a Father Ted caravan the other day.
All right.
Yeah, it was like we're just sat at the pub and this caravan goes past and it's like it was white once, but it was then like a really sort of dark coloured black by this point because just I don't know what happened to the outside. It wasn't painted or anything; it just changed colour.
Yeah, I get it.
And I was following it, but I ended up behind it on the way back home because I left about 10 minutes later and I ended up behind it. Right?
As you do.
And that's because every time, well, there was something severely wrong with this caravan because every time the driver got more than, say, 25 miles an hour, snaking like a bitch.
Damn.
He was snaking more than like that game on the Nokias. That snake, yeah, he's just literally all over the place.
Somewhere over here.
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh,
it was just snaking back and forth. Every time we went over to like 25 miles an hour and he had to slow down again. It's like there's something severely wrong with that caravan. I don't think you should be towing that caravan. Whatever you paid for that caravan, even if it was free, you've paid too much.
Yep.
So unless it's going
What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to gut it, discharge it, and just start again.
discharge the capacity on the caravan. Make sure you and adjust the pots on the side.
Connect your jammer harness, but remember, some of this stuff can get really hot.
yeah. And watch how your caravan's running on XP. So
Anger.
there you go.
Yeah.
Now, Skazz, I have to say you impressed me. 1 hour, 6 minutes
Yeah.
on arcade cabinets, and we had nothing to talk about this episode.
Fucking rocking. Nailed it.
Yeah. Well,
Nailed it.
I'm not playing games either. I've been getting slightly obsessed into.
You're a pro now.
I am I'm professional now. I have to like beg for food in the streets.
You're a pro
now.
loaf like I am.
I am now self-employed, but I now beg for food in the streets. Basically, this is unrelated. We've been playing D&D for off and on for the last couple of years, and we're working our way through one of the campaigns called Prince of the Apocalypse, and we found ourselves. So we missed a few weeks, and the campaign is quite complicated. It's very open that you can do whatever you want, pretty much in any direction, and everybody's having a lot of trouble following it along because there's just so many characters, so many plot threads, right at the start and so forth. And we saw like so there's a bit of momentum with it because if you missed a couple of weeks, everybody forgot where they were.
Yeah, sure, I get you.
So I was like, okay, do you want to abandon this one? Yes, we want to keep the characters. I said, let's do characters. No, we've got to keep the characters. Okay. I'll think of ways that somehow your characters just fixed everything. It's fine. They fixed it all. Now we're doing something else.
Even that guy that lost his leg.
Yeah, they're fine. They fixed it all. They saved everybody. Everybody's happy.
Paradox.
But yeah, they're only level 6. But they saved the world. It's fine. So I ended up spending the last 2 weeks writing my own campaign.
What you need to do is say that it turns out that everyone was actually just drunk down the pub.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll do
Problem
that.
solved.
Yeah.
So how is your campaign writing going? Am I going to be expecting to see like a #1 bestseller on Amazon by the end of the week?
Well, I've one section. I think the main section it's in 3 parts, and I've done the first part, and that's the 50,000 words.
Right, I went to university with you. We did coursework, fewer words than that.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Well, because obviously I wrote the overall of the event, the sort of overall plot of the adventure. It took about 3 pages of how the adventure.
I want to know what your summaries are like, mate.
Yeah,
that was the summary.
It is quite summarific. This is the campaign version, right? And then, of course, I had to sort of like write the history of one of the towns that they're going to start in, because they will ask those questions. They will ask. So I had to write the whole history of the town and all the people there and the scripters. I try and save a little bit of space, so I don't write the blocks of text like, oh, you see this wonderful place, blah, 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 blah. I write like bullet points of what I want to cover, and then I just wing it on the night.
Yeah.
And so forth. And then, of course, I have to write the actual then plots of how they're going to move through it all and the flow charts. And
you've got thousands and tens of thousands of words in bullet points.
Yes.
Fucking hell, Ram.
It's not all bullet points.
Damn.
There are
dude.
some paragraphs in there.
I know some. I know what you're like. That's going to be like a bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. And there's like 6 pages of bullet points, a paragraph.
Yeah. It's
more
all right.
bullet points to follow that paragraph.
Yeah. The first sort of... I've had to split into parts and subparts.
Question, how long would this campaign last roughly as it stands?
I don't... Well, with us, probably about 3 to 4 years. For a normal group, probably... I think a normal group could probably get through in a couple of months, probably, weekly.
Well, then it's worth it at this point.
Yeah. And I've only written the first part. I'm at the stage. Well, it's funny actually how you come up with a rough idea, a vague idea, and then it just sort of flows and it's all started to link together itself naturally.
Have you had a campaign come together this smoothly before?
Well, I've never written my own campaign before.
Oh, wow.
I've always used pre-written ones.
Well, I was going to say because you've always kind of reworked things.
Oh
that you already
yeah,
had,
I've adjusted them. I've mutated them.
Have you ever had like ideas flow into a campaign like this?
No.
Smoothly.
No, I love my storyline.
There you go.
I love it.
Oh, is this going to be adapted into a major motion picture?
Of course, yes.
Excellent.
Of course, yes. It's I'm just fine. All the missions I've got, I'm quite happy with the missions. There's only there aren't a lot, but they're all. I'm trying to make. I'd rather have a few more interesting missions than lots of little side missions. So that's what I mean. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. It's just every evening it's like, should I play a game? Yeah. I'm just going to write another sort of... I'm just going to write this next part of this adventure.
10 minutes writing. 6 hours go by. The sun comes up.
I've actually got to start doing the mask. I've got to create my first sort of my own monster.
Oh.
So I'm not even using the monster manual. I'm creating this my little enemy monster soldier or anything things.
Discharge a CRT.
It's close.
Roll anything other than a 6 and you're dead.
I've sort of combined... I have been inspired semi-heavily by the Clockwork Soldiers from Dishonored 2.
Oh, right.
But also a bit of classic...
Still not played that, you know?
Yeah, also a bit of classic Thief as well. Thief 2 Metal Age. There's like these metal, like, servants with like sort of brass face. I'm sort of inspired by that and sort of combine the two together and... creating my automata.
This is not classic D&D by any stretch, is it?
Oh no! See, the world they've gone to is basically sort of it's more technologically advanced. They've started. There's sort of this continent.
So what you're saying is the dwarf has got a bow and arrow and it's going to be.
Oh, see, this is the thing. See, in my continent, the dwarves are virtually non-existent there.
Oh, thank God.
They've gone there, and the dwarves have all but died out.
Oops. But isn't one of your family a dwarf?
Yeah, but he's travelling there, so it's fine. Oh. There are some dwarves around, but they're mostly died out.
Okay.
They're mostly gone. And yeah, the continent's all like they've still got the early stages like steam power.
Okay.
Very early stages, quite early stages. They're sort of dabbling a little bit with their version of electricity, but it's very early stages. But they've got like steam when they arrive. They're gonna have steam powered cranes on the decks and so forth.
You have to tell them it's gonna be hot and electricity is not friendly.
We sent to Fear Track to get a sneak preview of the trailer for Ram's D&D campaign, the motion picture. I actually haven't got a steam tractor in it. I'll put one in there.
There you go.
But a steam tractor can chase them down.
Seriously, we've got to come up with a design for the side of it for Fear Tractor.
Yeah, we will do. One day we will film Fear Tractor. We'll go to the farm and we will film Fear Tractor.
It's going to be great.
It's all staged, obviously.
No, nothing can be staged in Fear Tractor.
Yeah.
Fear Tractor is just 100% real. It's ultimate reality TV.
I'll just climb inside a pig pen as it's all wandering past. I'll go, oh no, they've got me. And I'll just collapse and live on the ground. Oh no, they're killing me. They're eating me. Ow.
That reminds me of...
Ow.
So this is almost as bad as when you say when you get you get an electric shock now. It's just like, you don't go, and freak out. It's just like, motherfucker. He starts getting eaten by a pig. Oh, they're eating me. There goes my leg.
Yeah.
It reminds me, Bear Grylls.
I'll drop down with a little bowl of ketchup and just start squirting. My jugular.
reminds me of Bear Grylls did one of those interactive film things on Netflix. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, so you know that night shift thing you did where you had to like pick a thing. Have you seen the one that was on Netflix?
No, I haven't yet.
There was an interactive thing. Well, Bear Grylls has done the same thing where basically it's choose your own adventure.
Bear Grylls doing a choose your own. What?
Yeah.
This seems very random.
It's fucking stupid as piss. It's like, okay, so we're now in this environment and we've got to find our way to civilization. But if you make a bad choice and I end up in a bad way, I'm going to have to pull out my emergency radio and call for help. It's like, okay. And then it just comes up with these really stupid things to...
Do you want to, A, get in the car and drive back to the civilization, or B, go into the woods?
Well, the first one... The first one, he ends up on the side of a cliff, and he's climbing. It's like, okay, so where are we going to go? Are we going to climb up the cliff or along the side of the cliff? If we go up the cliff, it's not too much of a problem, but it'll take us longer. If we go sideways, though, we're likely going to get killed by all that water smashing into the side of the cliff.
So I've got to do my Clarkson impression again. Tonight on Fear Tractor, Ram looks at some sheep. Skazz. Oh shit. Let's try that again. Edit this. Edit this. What's going on? What's going on the mic?
Ram can't even operate a microphone. Jesus.
Did you just hit me?
Yes. Probably belted you with a bottle. I just bottled you, Ram.
Right.
What are you going to do? Fucking...
Tonight on Fear Tractor, Ram looks at some sheep, Skazz raged by arcade wiring, and Bard is still dead.
Bless him.
Yeah.
Still gone. I haven't heard from Bard in ages.
Oh, you're not?
What a shame.
He might actually be dead.
Not my problem.
Who knows? But yeah. So, yeah, been having great fun. You know, delving into the Dungeon Master's Guide, having to write thing and sort of create this campaign and...
I can't find any of my D&D stuff.
What's all stuff you bought last year?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I actually found an old, I think it was a version 3 handbook.
I've got the version 3 and the 3.5s as well.
I think we got them, you know Ulath, Tim?
Yeah.
They were his. Him and his brother gave them to us a while back, and I put them in a place to make sure they were safe when we moved. And I found them a few months back. I was just like, they were still where I was just fucking... I completely forgot he'd even given them to us. Yeah. I was like, I don't remember having these.
Right, now you do. Now you're going back.
Good times. Good fucking times.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm on a campaign, which is why I'm not playing games.
Who needs to play games?
I've been having great fun. I'll report back. We're doing the first part tomorrow.
Well, the trick is...
I've only just written the intro.
By the next...
I've written the first campaign, the whole first section, but I didn't actually get around to writing the introduction of how they actually get there.
Got drunk down the pub one day, walked the wrong way, turned up.
I'm going for Fulmorin. They start on a boat. Not prisoners, though.
I was going to say, I better not be like East, because if they end up on a boat, they're going to be ended up underwater.
Now, there are bits where they have to go on a boat elsewhere, and I might sort of like get them attached to the boat as they float around places. Because I'm mean.
Good. Make sure you're wearing your suit when they get attacked.
I will do.
Channel that evil.
Yeah.
Activate that fucking white guy evil gene.
Do you know what's going to really confuse... If Minimizer does come to our next podcast...
Yeah, why are we wearing suits?
Yeah, we'll get in the car and he'll get in and I'll say to him, where's yours?
This is a special occasion if I pull this off. Although knowing my luck, I will probably be dead by the next podcast because I'm going to be fiddling with that arcade
dead
cam
with a
next week.
capacitor.
What happened? Well,
at least I'll be dressed for the funeral.
I should go work on the arcade machine in my suit.
Yeah.
No, I'd get in a lot of trouble if I did that because you know what's going to be really bad? I never wear a suit twice a year. And it looks like I'm going to be wearing a suit twice a year. It's going to be the first time ever. Hell have frozen over. I will channel the evil twice.
Make sure you wear it next time. I better message you.
We'll see. I might just wear a shirt.
No, you got to wear the whole suit.
Oh, fuck, man. I don't actually know. I don't know what my suit is. We'll see. That'd be funny if you turn up and I'm dead.
This be the most professional podcast ever.
Yeah.
That might be the key to us getting more than into double figures.
That'll never happen. Never fucking happen. Well, do you want me to set up lights as well? Because we'll be wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I want you to be all professional next time. You're wearing a suit. You've got to be professional about this.
All right. I'll set up lights.
Good.
No, I won't.
I want a whole studio team as well.
Yeah. Just so the Middlemeister, you can't be on this episode because you ain't wearing a suit, you fucking scrub.
Yeah, just go over there in the poor person corner.
Yeah, get over there, gutter
Pauper's
trash.
corner, yeah. Yeah. Little gutter runner.
So fucker. Oh dear. I miss Skaven.
I love Muscaven.
You know
I wouldn't
what?
want to meet one, but I do love Muscaven.
We need to play, and I know I QQ'd about that game a long time ago, Vermintide.
Well, Vermintide 2's out.
Yeah, isn't it? I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I like Skaven, so I don't like killing them.
Oh, yeah. A game where you play as... Oh, it would be great if there's a game you could play as one that can Scar. And go around with a rattling machine gun.
No.
You're
talking about fun. Games aren't allowed to be fun these days. Epic Store and all that.
Segue.
Oh?
Yes. So, Borderlands 3's been announced.
Yes. I've still not played through Borderlands at all.
Yeah, well, I like Borderlands. Well, I discussed Borderlands last year. Ironically, I was listening to some of the podcasts on my phone, and it was just random, and I happened to be kicked the broadcast where I talked about Borderlands 2.
Wasn't that the one where Bard was shitting all over it?
No, that's Borderlands 1.
Oh.
He didn't like.
I thought Borderlands 2 was by Gearbox.
It is by Gearbox.
Yeah, but he doesn't like Gearbox.
Well, he wasn't on the podcast with us when we talked about Borderlands 2.
Aha! There you go then.
Yeah. So
there's my answer.
Yeah. So yeah, Borderlands 2, we talked about it. Borderlands 3's been announced. Looks very much the same. It looks a lot prettier. You know, you're going to you're going to be going to other worlds, like this world's a big city worlds, there's junk worlds, there's a nice world. I'm hoping there's be a lava world there somewhere as well, maybe.
Maybe.
Whatever type was it? Yeah, you've got the main types, you've got to have the lava world there somewhere. There's a gun with legs that chases your enemy down and shouts insults at them as it shoots them.
Sounds good.
Yeah. However, there is a downside to Borderlands 3, and it's signed up for a 1-year Epic Store exclusive.
No one will buy it.
No. And people have been responding, and this is where I'll get in. People have been responding by giving Borderlands 2 bad reviews.
Let's see. Gearbox don't give a shit.
Yeah. Borderlands 2's been out since 2014, I think Borderlands 2 came out.
Long old time.
5 years.
They made their money.
Yeah. So, and also, Borderlands 2 is a good game, and you're shitting on it for the fact that the sequel is being put on a different store. That is, in my view, stupid.
I agree.
And Steam have now actually got anti-revenge reviewing, review bombing technology in place now.
Oh.
They now analyse all the reviews, and if they detect the algorithm detects that you're reviewing stuff, but using for reasons not related to the quality of the game, it'll give the option saying, we think you're being review bombed. Do you wish to stop all just delete all this last reviews? Oh, sure. So how it works is you just delete all reviews the last 2 or 3 days. Sure. Everything. Well, positive or negative, they're just gone. Yeah. So you
know there's going to be some smart ass that somehow manages to write his review in just such a way that it passes that.
Well, yeah. One thing that I'm not so keen on is they're also monitoring reviews that talk about things like DRM measures and other anti-piracy stuff in there, because they say that it's not relevant to the core Steam user.
Right.
Which I thought a bit weird, because to me that's still part of the game. If you buy the game, it's got apparent DRM in it, even though it's on Steam, which is effectively DRM anyway. Why that's to me a valid criticism. Giving a game a bad review because you don't like the sequel is a stupid thing to do. But if a game's got something put into it which you don't like, then that's to me valid. But
yeah, I would agree with that, because let's say in some cases Denuvo have made some games unplayable on certain hardware.
Yeah.
This has even made it where in some cases people weren't actually able to play games they'd actually legitimately purchased.
Yeah.
So I think that is a valid criticism. Or like when Rockstar's servers went down for that time and people couldn't play games they'd paid for.
Yeah. Or when Rockstar stopped single-player mods on GTA 5.
Yeah. That is a valid criticism.
Yeah.
You are allowed to say that because it impacts
your gameplay experience.
Yeah. You may have only bought the game to mod it.
Yeah.
And if they've banned it, if they used to allow it and now they've banned it, that's a negative. You're allowed to criticise that.
Yeah, of course you are. So I disagree with that a bit much. I agree with the initial idea, but I disagree with that. I think that's a bit silly.
Do you think that many developers are gonna developers and publishers are gonna fucking hardcore abuse this, or is this something that Valve have to activate?
I think from the sounds of it, the Valve basically picks up on it and says to the developer, "We think you're being review bombed. Do you wish to action it?" From the way it was, I've had it described. That's how it seems that it's going to be able to act. So it's not developers who decide they're being review bombed. It's Valve decide they're potentially being review bombed.
So every review that you write from this point on, folks, be a right smarmy bastard, but throw in some sneaky references to the thing that you want to take the piss out of.
Yeah, but review the game. And don't just put your view. I'm doing this negative because, I don't like the fact that the CEO has a blue car.
Oh, fuck, mate! Right there, what a dick! If it turns out it's an Audi, I ain't buying his games anymore. Great.
Exactly. And also, I think it's a bit mean as well because a game what is good, you shit on it. That's not really. It's. There's probably people who develop that game who have nothing to do with the later games and their sort of work's being shut on because so that
that's it. They will be tarnished by the brush of
and also it's not going to affect things. So most people, everybody's hyped about Borderlands 3. I think, why is everybody hyped about it? They go look at Borderlands 2 and think, well, it's got terrible reviews.
Yeah, that's not a good way to bring people into the fold. It's not a good way to bring people into the series.
And I must say something controversial here. I like exclusives. I don't like the idea of exclusives.
No.
But at the same time, to me, it's something people gain knickers in a twist. It's like exclusives on consoles. Everybody accepts exclusives on consoles. People get a bit annoyed about it. They don't go around review bombing because a game is exclusive on console.
Well, in fairness, in a lot of cases for consoles, console fanboys love them.
Yeah.
So many fanboys will say, we've got Uncharted, we've got God of War, we've got, this and that and whatnot. And then the Xbox guys will be like, yeah, but we've got Gears and we've got Halo, so fuck you because your system's shit because you haven't got it. That stuff's annoying.
It is annoying, and I don't like. I think everybody should be able to play a game. I mean, I understand games not going on other platforms because of development costs. I mean, if someone's not so much now. If you're a small studio developing for multi platforms, it's a lot more complicated. Complicated, although it's a lot easier now than it was 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
In 10 years ago, it's a lot easier now because it's all basically the same hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that sort of a little bit silly, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me too much. And in the case of the Epic Store, it's not like someone's asked you to go and spend £300 on a new console to play these games.
No.
You just download the Epic Store and buy them through it. So it's not a massive... And also, I'm not totally against the idea of Steam having a competitor.
No.
Because Steam has got basically a monopoly on the market. I mean, you've got other services out there, but none as big as Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea is, there are other services out there that you got like Uplay, but then you publish Ubisoft games. You've got Origin, so you publish Origin games.
Yeah.
So the idea of someone else coming along and trying to build a competitor to Steam, part of me wonders if Epic Launcher is now in the situation where Steam was when it first launched. Everybody thought Steam was a stupid thing when it first launched.
I hated it.
Yeah, a lot of people did, but now it's sort of like people. It's weird how people have changed their views. So Steam's the greatest thing, and if you're on Epic Store,
the Epic Store is getting the same backlash that Origin got.
Yeah,
and Uplay got.
Yeah.
Soon people will be like, "Oh fuck, man, that game's on Origin."
Yeah, I'm actually tempted to because I might actually just download Epic Store and actually have a play of it and just buy a game on just to see quite how bad or how part of me just feel like it's all been overwrought actually how bad it is. And let's face it, at the end of the day, if you're paying the same price for a game on Epic Launcher as you'll go on Steam, what's the real difference? I mean,
I've heard that there's a lot of naughty background spy stuff going on.
There was, yes, although I don't think people realize quite how much Steam does a similar sort of thing in the background. But I think Steam got away with it because it's been there for a long time. Whereas Epic, I think, because it was people just looking for something to blame on Epic.
Of course they are. Well, that's what they're doing now anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there were some noise fire where there was one which was proper sort of like monitoring over. So there were some nasty bits on there, but you'd be surprised what other systems are doing.
Mate, Windows 10.
Yeah.
Windows 10 is a thing, and it's hoovering up
far
everything.
worse, yeah.
Mac OS is doing the exact same thing.
They all are.
Yeah.
Data is the currency. They all want the data. The data is what gives you everything you need.
Netflix does it.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's doing it.
Well, the obvious one is Google.
Yeah, Google
Facebook.
fucking love it. Fuck, you can't get anywhere without Facebook.
Yeah, let's be honest. Google they're far worse in many ways. They did just as bad as Facebook, but they seem to have got away with a lot of the shit that Facebook has got in trouble with.
Look at all the people complaining about stuff that these other companies are doing, like what Epic are doing and all that. Oh, they're spying on me and all that. Nintendo are doing it. But then you look at it and it's like, you're complaining yet you have a Gmail account.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll go with whatever's convenient.
I think people got to get the idea actually about that you're being spied on, but for a lot of these cases, the ultimate what they're trying to spy on you is for advertising purposes, really. Mm-hmm. And we've always had targeted ads.
Yeah, forever.
You know, and I think people don't realise actually how long back. I mean, an early version of targeted ads was loyalty cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. Where I worked, I won't go for full details of who it was. There was a loyalty card scheme. And the loyalty card scheme, you would basically be sent... Thank you, because my mic moved, you see. You'd be basically sent vouchers around about Christmas time to buy certain trees. Mm-hmm. What vouchers you got sent was dependent on your previous like 5 or 6 years purchasing habits.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just a smaller version.
They're going to give you something that would encourage you. They're like, oh, hey, there's a voucher for the thing that I look for, because they know, you've got a discount. You're more likely to spend that money on.
I think it was Target in America accidentally announced someone's pregnancy.
Yeah, I think I heard of that. No,
because
they
sent
looked
his daughter.
At people's buying habits.
They said this chap complained because his daughter had been sent gift vouchers for like baby formula and nappies and stuff, and he said, "Why is this to me? My daughter isn't pregnant." So it turned out she was pregnant, and they've been monitoring her spending habits and determined she must be pregnant and sent her some stuff.
Yeah. Which is fucking terrifying, but then when you
gave them the data when you signed up for the club.
Yeah.
Why do you think when you sign up to these loyalty schemes or you sign up to any service that's free?
Yeah, you're the product.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook isn't free out of the good of its heart. How do people think Facebook pays the bills? I always laugh at this when everyone was criticising Facebook's sort of data analytics and all this sort of stuff. How do you think Facebook keeps the lights going? Yeah. How do you think Facebook covers the cost of all the bandwidth for all your videos, all the videos of your daughter, your 1-year-old daughter's first birthday party? How do you think they pay for that bandwidth? How do they do it? It's because they're gaining something out of you, and in your case, it's your data.
Yep.
And it's advertising. Facebook is an advertising company.
It's a marketing company.
Google is an advertising company. Mm-hmm. In fact, all these big things, if it's free, they're getting some out of it. Now, for me, I generally just accept it. I know it's what you're using it for, and I accept that. That's what my data's being used for, and the convenience of the service is enough for me to say, okay, I think that's a fair compromise. If I do
agree to a point, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's fair. If I didn't think it was a fair compromise, I wouldn't use the service.
Exactly, same. That's my thing.
Or if there's a paid version which didn't do it, that's a different matter.
Yeah.
If you're paying a subscription fee to Facebook and they're doing it, I would say that's a bit more.
Yeah, that's taking the piss.
Yeah. And
for example, like I have my email account, I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't tend to use Google services.
Yeah.
I pay for my email address so I know that no one's filtering through my emails.
Yeah.
To try and sell me something because I'm already paying them to run their service.
So they don't need to do that.
Yeah. If they started, then it's like, well, then you're not getting my money anymore, and I'll move elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I feel that if it's important, you probably should pay for it, because then that way, if something goes wrong, well, you've got a contract with that company.
Yeah.
Whereas like Google and Facebook and that, they basically tell you to get stuffed.
Yes.
Right off the bat, because it is free.
Yeah.
And you chose to put all that data on there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I also find amusing in the case of people talk about Netflix and so forth. What I always find amusing is that one is when people say, oh, look at the recommendation Netflix has given me, and it's some random thing. I never watched something like that. Why would they tell me that sort of information? Then they get upset by the fact that Netflix is monitoring their data to give them recommendations.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have both ways. If you have random stuff sent to you, and they hope it's something you like,
Yeah.
or they actually monitor what you're watching and show you, say, hey, you watch this series, you probably like this one as well.
Can I throw out there, okay, so take your tinfoil hats off, and this is coming from fucking clinical insanity right now, okay? There is no such thing as anonymity online. You make a connection from one computer to another, it's logged. When you done it, where you done it from, how long you were there. So when you disconnected, that'll be logged too.
Yep.
It's the way computers have always been.
Yep. You might be able to hide what you're doing on occasion. You might be able to encrypt your traffic and hide that,
Sure.
but they still know you've been there.
And it's not that hard these days to figure out. Your habits will betray you, even if you do encrypt your traffic. So let's say, for example, I bounce around over VPNs and things. But let's say I go to the same 4 sites at the same time every day. I'll say, well, hang on a minute. This random so-and-so, or this random connection, the things aren't being made from this connection anymore, but now all of a sudden this guy over here is doing the exact same thing in the exact same time.
And then you sign in.
And then you're fucked, because as soon as you sign in, they know exactly who you are.
Yeah. They know you're using a VPN.
Yeah, because there's some lovely logs there.
Yeah.
Tied to your account.
Yeah.
That IP gets linked to your account, track.
Yep.
You're cool. There are logs for everything. It is the way computers have worked since the beginning of time.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And so you can make it hard. And there are ways and means that if you really bounce it around and so forth, you can hide. Because people do get a way of hiding their identities. But it's very, very difficult.
Very difficult. Especially these days. Very difficult.
I mean, people get away... people who get away with... repeatedly get away with murder.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people... most people don't.
Nope.
It's very difficult to hide yourself.
It's a case of... Okay, so here's the trick. It's a case of how much do you want to get away with what you want to do?
Yeah.
And how much time and money can the good guys invest in catching you?
Yes.
How much money, how many resources can the other team put into catching you? Because if they've got a shit ton of money and a shit ton of time, they will catch you. No matter how good you think you are, if they've got the time, it might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be next year, but they will fucking catch you.
Also, I think it's a case of at some point when you connect to your computer now, you are going to have to trust somebody else.
Yeah, that's kind of how computing works.
Yeah, exactly. It's a set network that you're trusting every connection you make to somebody else. Now, most people might be, most of those people, or let's take Tor browsing for a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
There is a connection, you go in the network and out the network. You're trusting those people and those connections at some point. At some point, you've got to trust those people. There's always that link where where you trust somebody. But if that person,
if the exit node is corrupt, you're fucked.
Yeah, you can't trust everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gets you. There's always this. You can't do it alone. Unless you're going to set up your own network, and even then, that's what problem. Because that's weird. This guy comes from a network. Hang on a second. Only one person's got this network.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, isn't it?
It's the same as if you funnel all of your traffic through a VPN, like all of it. They'll be like, hang on a minute. All of your traffic is so. Like, say for example, BT. They were like, hang on a minute. Every single connection is going to this place all the time. Weird. Why? Maybe we should investigate.
Yeah.
Then you're painting a target on your back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you are the only person in a big ass group that's using a VPN, you're gonna look suspicious.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
You cannot hide online, and it's even better. Oh, yeah, mate, like fucking, they're spying on us and all that as they're carrying around a smartphone in their pocket.
Yes.
Always on microphone, a camera that you can access with a simple script.
Yep.
Same with a laptop. Laptop, you got a microphone on it. You got a camera on it. You know?
My sister got sent a scam email the other day, and it said, dear so and so, we've got a video of you masturbating.
Wow.
Unless you give us money, we're going to share it with all your friends. And she posted and said, I didn't even know a webcam. And she then thought, well, fair enough. I don't really care.
Oh, good job. Good job. At the end of the day, you can't get away from anything these days, no matter how hard you try. Not even Richard Stallman of the Free Software Foundation can go full Richard Stallman. He still has to use banking systems, which are proprietary software. As you walk around the streets, you're on fucking hundreds of cameras in the course of a day. You cannot get away from it.
Unless you go move out to like sort of the middle of the Alps somewhere and decide to like live your life as a mountain goat, you're not going to get away from it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard, but as you say, it comes down to, are you worth chasing?
Yeah.
And
enough, not a lot of people are worth chasing, no matter what they think they're not.
Even the ones who, even the ones who like hack it, you hack into someone's Facebook account, you're not worth chasing.
No.
You hack into a big institution that's like third party, you're not worth chasing. As that company's got a lot of money in its back pockets. I mean, even those people did the ransomware attack on the NHS. Realistically, they're probably not worth chasing. They got the systems back.
They did them though in the end, didn't they? Didn't they catch someone for that?
I know, as far as I'm aware, I didn't hear they caught
they fucked up the kid that solved the problem.
Yeah. Not as far as I'm aware, they didn't catch them. Sorry, because I know last I heard they were monitoring, because some companies had paid the Bitcoin ransom fee.
Oh right, so they were monitoring the
they're monitoring the wallets to see what happened to them. And I think last I heard, this money was still there. I think someone tweeted, actually, we can't touch this money. Because again, Bitcoin sounds great, but those wallets are public, aren't they? You could watch them. So they're just watching them, right, seeing where they're going to go. Mm-hmm. So, well, I still think that was another country just doing a test attack.
Yeah, potentially. Just trying to stitch someone up.
Yeah. So we are entering a world where I think cyber warfare is going to be the next big
cyber warfare is war. Cyber warfare won't be cyber warfare; it will just be warfare.
Yeah, it's let's face it. A modern military engagement between two equally matched sides, not like what we have now. We go into a country that's got 40-year-old equipment and just bomb them, and still somehow virtually lose. Mm-hmm. We're now if two superpowers of equal power went to war with each other, there would actually be not a lot of it'd be lots of death, massive death everywhere as we just went realistic with weapons, or there'd be very little because everybody would be doing it through weaponry, through subterfuge. They'd be just constantly avoiding each other. And it'll all be cyber warfare based.
I think the most terrifying thing that's going to happen in the future is that we're all going to become reliant on cloud services, right? Yeah. We're all going to rely on the internet. All data will be, you won't be able to fill in your taxes without going online. You won't be able to get prescriptions without going online, all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden the internet goes away. Someone just decides to come in and, oh, look, that country's being a bit of a dick. Let's turn them off.
Well, and there aren't that, when you think about it, if you actually broke down the infrastructure of just say the UK's internet, there are going to be choke points. Yeah. There are going to be let's just transatlantic. There aren't that many cables that go across from country to country. There are going to be points where there is a gatekeeper there somewhere.
Well, there have been stories in the past, haven't there, where entire countries have just been disconnected from the internet.
Yeah.
It is completely possible.
Yeah, and even internally, it's possible to shut down the internet. Yeah, there aren't that many DNS services out there. No. There are quite a few, and all the ISPs, yes, they have their own ones, but it wouldn't take a lot to start crippling them.
No, of course not.
And I bet even all the ISPs have them, share them.
And we all rely on this stuff to get shit done now. I mean, look at what happened when Tesco's till system went down.
Yeah,
and just everyone was shitting their pants. They didn't know what to do.
Well, every so often, in the UK. So in the UK, the credit card, if you use chip and pin, or contactless, or mainly chip and pin at a card reader, there's only about 5 card processing companies in the UK.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter, because the obvious ones like Visa, for example. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have a Barclaycard, but it's a Barclaycard Visa, a Santander Visa, a NatWest Visa. They all go through Visa.
Yeah.
when Visa goes down,
That's it. It's done.
everybody goes down. Every company that uses the Visa system goes down. I have at work or occasionally, usually happens in the summertime, usually around about Easter when there's a massive sudden influx of data through it. Because all of a sudden, everybody's spending it at the same time.
You're effectively DDoSing the system.
Yeah, you do. And it's a system that was designed a long time ago, and I think they're great, but it still just crashes every now and again. At that point, you say, I'm sorry, you can't do anything.
But again, that's the way computers work as well. No system is foolproof.
No.
There will be a day when there's downtime.
Yeah.
There's got to be. You need it for maintenance.
Yeah.
You can't run a system until it just falls.
I mean, it's actually incredible how the system keeps going.
Yep.
Day to day, how our systems just keep running. I mean, even like our web server we use, they've got a 99.99% uptime rate,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, which is why we pay a fair amount of money for not a great service, but because it's all those other bits that go with it, and the fact they got good times. But I mean, I got an email from them last week. They're apologising for their servers went down for half an hour,
and we're like, wait, did it?
Yeah, I was like, did it? Oh, okay. But then for us, it's nothing. But if you had a company that was
if it was Amazon on a sale day, you'd be shitting your pants. That's millions and millions, billions potentially.
Well, I believe Amazon's got lots of backup. I've got
for sure. But let's say it happened and everything went down.
If you're big enough to have a lot of transactions go through, but small enough that you didn't have you can afford to have lots of data centers split all over the world to redirect traffic to, then it's incredible, really. How we are. I don't think people realize actually how much we are on a knife edge of everything going.
Well, look at how quickly people freak out when they lose internet connection at home. They realise they can't watch films because there's no Netflix. Yeah. A lot of them can't listen to music because there's no Apple Music or
no
Google
gaming.
Music.
If you're like me, no gaming because Steam won't let you put into offline mode.
Yeah.
Although Steam will let you put into offline mode. I think for a long time you had to be online to go into offline mode.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Yeah,
Good
I think
job.
for a long time.
There are so many things that we rely on that we don't even think about. Yeah. The internet is just there. It is always there. I've experienced it. I've binned my smartphone. And it's just really weird to kind of walk away and be like, whoa, there's no internet. And it's almost like an addiction.
Yeah.
It's not there. I'm like, shit, I'm not getting emails. Am I missing anything? Fuck. And just imagine if that all just disappeared. The amount of people who freak out if they don't have their phones for more than 5 minutes. Imagine how that would be if the internet just went away. You couldn't just go somewhere else. Yeah. Someone shut down the internet for this country. People would freak
I think the biggest threat actually to the UK, and they're trying to sort of think there's no real way to work around it, and to the internet directly, is actually solar flares.
Yeah.
Because that would cause massive damage to our electricity infrastructure.
I have been trying to say to people for the longest time, because a lot of people keep saying to me, yeah, but digital's the way of the future. Digital's the way of the future. It is, but my beef with digital and current backup systems, unless you have a massive, massive amount of servers and backups and all that kind of stuff, this technology hasn't been around long enough for us to really know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
So you make a backup on tape. We've had tape for fucking moons. We know how long it takes for a tape to degrade. We're not entirely sure how long it'll take for a hard drive to last.
But they've got a pretty good idea
we've got
now.
a pretty... But it's still... You can see when a tape's going to go. A hard drive just... Boop.
That's why the big servers, they use RAID systems and so forth.
Yeah, like backups. But then RAIDs can go bad too.
Yeah.
If you have an evil RAID. But this is what I'm saying. We still haven't got things quite nailed down yet. There is going to be a time when entire records, entire databases just disappear because someone forgot to back up.
Yeah.
It's, kind of like the same as paper when you have a flood, but people seem to think that digital is going to be, no, nothing's ever going to go away. Yeah. Of course it can. If anything happens to a server farm, as you say, solar flares and shit like that, massive surges, it gets fucked up. When someone was arguing with me recently about Final Fantasy VIII, Square Enix have lost the source code apparently for Final Fantasy VIII, and I said, well, that's just fucking silly. They're a multi-million-dollar corporation, and you're telling me they couldn't back up their data? And then the person came back and said, well, clearly you've never heard of natural disasters. What about the tsunamis they had that wrecked their main building? It's like, they've got buildings all over the world. You telling me you couldn't pass the source code for one of your biggest franchises to another building?
No one thought to do it. It's. I mean, it is incredible. I mean, what the company I work for, they've got, from what I understand, they've got 3 servers dotted around the country, separated, and they rely on distance as a form of protection. That is actually that's one protection. They said that they're set up in such a way that if a tsunami hit the UK, they would store their data. Yeah. I think, to be honest, if something hit the UK, we'd have bigger problems to worry about than whether we still had access to our data. From their point of view, though, it's a natural protection. And I was watching a talk from the IT person. Said, yeah, so we've got enough capacity so if one server goes down, we're okay. If 2 go down, we can still run, although it'll be a bit slow. If all 3 go down, at this point, something so disastrous happens to the UK, it's probably not worth running anymore. Said,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because he said they've got one, they're so far apart, it'd be like the only way that would go down is if there's like a nuclear war, and at that point we've got bigger problems to worry about than whether someone's going to get there free for 2 on a tin of paint. That's
what we tend to say about people when they're worried about encrypting their stuff. Please, yes, encrypt your stuff, but they say like, oh yeah, you know, what happens if someone gets into the house? If there's someone that's like, so let's say someone gets in and they manage to decrypt your drive. If there's someone in your house, you've probably got more things to worry about than the shit on your hard drive.
And let's be honest, they're not going to come to your house and then decrypt. They're going to take the computer and do it at home.
But either way, the idea that they're worried enough about you to try and get into your property. Yeah, you've probably got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I actually do is format the drive and sell it on. So. Right, let's see what notes. Someone's commented on my sister's masturbation video. That's nice. It was true. I very much doubt the masturbation video adds to the rest of the crap in the internet would make a massive difference all of a sudden. No, I think it's more for a friend saying it would be more of an issue. But and credit card technology is ancient and has not even had good enough security for decades. Well, to be fair, yeah, it's true. When it was designed, it was all right, but it can't catch up. I mean, let's face it, bank systems still run on COBOL.
Good old COBOL.
Yeah. Well, because nobody's too scared to upgrade them, because everybody has to do the same system.
It takes money and time, and if rookie coder fucks it up, the shit that's there, it works.
Yeah, there is a case of there's a strong argument of if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it works, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Just because it's all... Let's face it, an internal combustion engine hasn't really changed. Yes, it's got electronic management now, but it hasn't...
We've refined it, we've tweaked it a bit here and there, but we haven't really changed the fundamentals.
Yeah. Even the processing your computer is still basically the same wiring it was when they first developed. So in the sort of early 60s and 70s, when they first sort of developed down to microarchitecture, it's the same basic setup wiring because there's no reason to change it.
We've just gotten better at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So... if they're in your house, then they definitely do not want any of your data.
Well, they'll fucking bag you up and drag you out.
Yeah. Depends if it's Mark Zuckerberg breaking into your house.
Fucking robot.
Yeah. Show me to the data.
In the grand scheme,
you have deleted your Facebook account.
Oh shit. Maybe that's what all that scratching sound has been.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got a Facebook account.
You open the doors, there's this big smiley face. Hello, Skazz. I want all your... What did you have for tea today?
So tell me now. Bugged my house.
Yeah.
Dread Pirate Bezos is going to bug my house.
Oh, that sounds about right.
He has to, because he gave me a nice pair of headphones by mistake. So now I have to be willing to be shafted by Amazon on a daily basis.
Wait till the drones start coming out and they'll start landing.
It's like, oh, hi Jeff. How you doing? It's like hovering in front of my face, like, hi, how you doing? So I'm just going to the toilet, mate. Just like shut the door and it's just dung, dung, dung. All of a sudden it flies around to the window. It's like,
I have your parcel. I need a signature.
It's like, God damn it, Jeff, just wait a minute, please.
I have your parcel. I need a signature.
I swear, man. I swear. all of a sudden it comes in through the window and it's just hovering in front of the toilet. It's like,
Well, yeah, one claw's got the parcel, the other paul's got all clipboard in it.
it's like, oh, for God's sake, look, can I just wipe
I have
first?
your parcel, and you you sign it. Goes, I'm taking a photo of the proof of delivery.
It's like, oh shit! And then the little robot, literally, it's like, you dick.
Thank you for your custom.
It's like, motherfucker, Jeff. It
Well-
will happen.
It will indeed happen. Well, I have to say, Skazz, despite the fact that
We
we
haven't done anything. We've
Yeah.
covered like nearly 2 hours.
Yes.
Jesus Christ! What a great edit this is going to be.
Yeah. You're looking forward to this, aren't you?
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Not going to pay anything.
No, I know.
It's just effectively infinite money.
Money isn't real anyway. I had to explain that to my kids.
No, that is actually a tough concept. I mean, to be fair, it's hard. Even now, it's a concept that sort of like makes you go, "Oh yeah, I suppose it." Yeah, how's that actually? How's the money only works because we all agree on it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, if because everybody agrees your money is worth something, and particularly if there's no gold standard anymore, it's all just numbers on a.
It's all based on a promise that you're actually going to hand it over. In a lot of cases, you can buy something, get it, and fucking leg it
See, I
before the
always
money even
thought
leaves.
this, and there's probably a good reason why this wouldn't work, but I'm no economist.
Okay,
because when the recession happened, all these companies were in debt. What if everybody said to each other, do you know what? If you delete your debt, we'll delete our debt. If we all do it, what's going to happen? Now, there's probably an economist out there who will explain to me why that's a bad idea. I know countries being in debt isn't actually a bad thing because
But isn't wiping the slate clean and pumping more, like pumping more artificial money into the system what caused most of this trouble anyway?
They didn't really wipe the slate clean, did they? It's sort of like
No, but they just kind of padded it. They patched it.
yeah.
You know, they did a Microsoft patch that fucked everything up.
Yeah, there's a balance between. I know there's a balance between putting money into a system enough that it allows people to expand and spend because you requires people to spend, and it requires inflation to happen as well. Our current system doesn't work. Inflation doesn't happen because the money has got to be, by its nature, has got to be worth less every year. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Just shamefully, it's getting really bad now.
Yeah.
Really bad now.
Yeah, so it has to be a system, but at the same time, if you do it too much, you have cracks. There's a fine balance between fucking the economy over and fucking the economy over, and there's a sweet spot in the middle of it's okay.
Just nearly, maybe, possibly, kind of all right. We might be all right. Maybe not tomorrow though.
Yeah.
Shit, we can't afford to buy bread. Oh well.
What
do I give a fuck? I'm driving around.
Hyperinflation, yeah, exactly. But trouble is, but everybody can't have Porsches. By its nature, you can't all have Porsches.
Hey, but the fucking rich motherfucker doesn't care. He's got his
Exactly.
Porsche.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't give a fuck if a loaf of bread costs 300 grand. He's got 300 grand to spend on.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Why don't I get any bread? Why doesn't the farmer get more fucking money?
That's fucking true.
Why don't the farmer get more money? Why is the fucking footballing prick getting all the money?
Yes, we have a economy based not on what you provide for the country or service you provide, but just based on some arbitrary, you kick a ball into a net.
Just to throw out there, right, before we end the podcast, we were raised really badly. We were always told, don't watch shit tons of TV, don't do drugs, don't drink, don't play loads of video games. What are the things that are making loads of people rich right now?
All the above.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
Young kids making millions playing fucking video games, and then there are fucking farmers that can't even afford to.
It makes me think that things like, I mean, sports people are a perfect example, or mainly the big ones, the footballers and so forth. That
Yeah.
when your team that you send to the World Cup, the money that they are being paid on a yearly basis could run a small hospital. I think you've got to say we've got some really messed up priorities in our society.
Sure. I flat out agree.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Just think about it. Even when a single footballer earns more money than near enough an entire town.
Yeah. Well, that's Charlie dying.
Yep, he hasn't been electrocuted.
No. He's been discharging capacitors.
God damn it, Charlie.
Or cat capacitors.
Oh. Hello, my boy.
I had a lumpy cough.
Bless him.
Yeah, so... Anyway,
I think we've spoken shit for long enough.
We have. We've somehow managed to do it. So, very much watching of the SuffolkRam.
Skazz.
And that's in episode 112. I did check Patreon. There's no patrons.
No.
Not surprising, really. So, for the audio viewers, where can you find us? Roundnerds.com. I will eventually get it switched over. You can join us on YouTube, youtube.com/roundnerds. We're on Twitch TV.com/roundnerds. We have Twitter, which is twitter.com/roundnerds. Google Plus is dead, so we haven't got Google Plus anymore.
Oh, yeah, fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Google Plus is dead. Long live Google Plus. Facebook.com/roundnerds. We're everywhere, basically.
We're like a fucking really shitty disease.
I haven't set up an Instagram account yet, though.
Oh, my God. We haven't completely sold out yet, then.
No, not yet. So, if everyone's watching, we'll see you in a fortnight. Bye.